Bro, you gotta stop gooning, bro. Stop beating your meat. Come on. Stop mounting the manicore. What are you doing with your life? Now, this video is on the topic of gooning, as you can tell. And, I'm not going to go over like some random statistics or studies or like we all know watching adult content is bad for your brain. You shouldn't do that. Kills your confidence. Uh, you know, it makes your chubby not be a chubby. But I'm going to talk about sort of a personal experience that I've had in my own life with. I've never really had an issue with watching adult content, but I have had an issue gooning all the time, like any dude, obviously, as we struggle with this. And it's not really seen as an issue, but I kind of want to point it towards that it can be an issue. And like, I swear it's some sort of like superpower when you stop doing it. And it might be full placebo, and I could be tweaking fully right now, but I swear when you get to like 2 weeks or a month of like not gooning, and it just feels like a superpower because of how strong the urge is, like the horniness and lust to do that. And so when you have the willpower to just not do that for like full 2 weeks, I feel like that gives you some like mental discipline and just motivation to actually do things. And it definitely gives you confidence, at least for me. And, again, could be placebo, don't know. But yeah, I just wanted to discuss like situations in my own life. So, there was a time where there was a younger Joe, and he had been on some dates, but never kissed a girl, was too like afraid and nervous of like fucking stuff up that you eventually did. And then I would go on some dates, but they would only last like, maybe I would talk to the girl and we'd go out for like a month or something like that. And, I was too agreeable, I think, didn't have enough confidence, never made a move. Like, I wasn't that good at flirting. Like, honestly, maybe I am slightly autistic. I don't know. I might be retarded, but, it was harder for me to pick up on like social cues. And I feel like somewhat I had to watch, like, not necessarily YouTube videos, but kind of like other people and figure out like, oh, like, what do they like, ask my bros like, hey, what did you do in this situation, like how would you respond to that, or like how do you react? And I'm like, maybe I'm autistic, I don't know, like why am I not picking up on these social cues? But there was a younger version of me, a little easton, and never kissed a girl, never had a girlfriend. So eventually I think I had read something online that I don't know, something about gooning and how it was bad for you, but uh, really no context to it. I just completely stopped doing it. I was like, you know what? Like, I'm never going to do this again until I get a girlfriend and like I actually can kiss a girl and go out with a girl. And so that's what I did. And, surprisingly, it worked as we'll get into it. But I swear it gives you some like newfound confidence. And again, it could be placebo. But so to get into the story, I think I had started to not do it and refrain. And I remember the first few days were pretty difficult. You obviously like have a ton of lustful thoughts. It's pretty hard, at least for me. Uh, and then, it slowly gets easier after like a week, but then maybe week two, it kicks up and it starts to get pretty difficult again. And, and I remember, it was on and off, and then I had finally like been consistent, and I haven't done it for, it had been like maybe a little over a month, maybe like 3 weeks or something like that. And I remember it was to the point where I was like, dude, I gotta kiss a girl. Like, I gotta talk to a girl. And it's like, I swear it's like this inherent nature when you stop giving your body like outlets to like that dopamine outlet hit. Like, your body's just gonna look somehow to get it in other ways. And I think it's like our male instinct to like reproduce and procreate. Is that your male biology is like gonna try to get that in other ways, and try to go out and try to talk to people. And I think that's where the confidence comes in. It's like you have the willpower to not do that, even though it's so difficult at times, but you just refrain. And I swear that gives you such a confidence boost. And so one of the things that I did was like, I think a month in, I was like, dude, I gotta start talking to girls. I just felt like the urge, and I feel like I would get in my car, and then I was just already going somewhere like to climbing gym, and then Like for me, it was which I had never done like cold approaching too much before, but that's what I just started doing, and it gave me a ton of confidence. It was kind of like immersion therapy. Like I'd go up to some girls and be like, "Oh, I just thought you're cute, so I wanted to say hi," and then they would give me a nice response, and then maybe I got their number. And usually everybody was pretty nice, but sometimes you go up and they're like, like what? You think I'm what? Like get away from me. And it's funny because I feel like most of the time, like you could never be a creepy guy if the girl finds you attractive, but if she doesn't find you attractive, and even if you went up and you're like, "Oh, I just thought you were cute," like I want to say hi, she'll be like appalled and be like, "Dude, get the hell away from me." But so anyway, I digress. Get back to the story. I would take my dog, I guess as a kind of like crutch. It was helpful. So I'd take my dog on this little path, walking path, semi-populated. And I just talked to, I was like, okay, I gotta like ask every single girl that I think is attractive out. And it wasn't really asking them out. It was more of like, I need to talk to every single one for like immersion therapy. And then at the end, I just like, if it was a good conversation, then I would just ask and be like, oh, you want to go out for, coffee sometime. So, or maybe go bouldering. That was like my main thing. So anyway, I got a couple numbers. None of them actually turned into dates. But then two of them did. They were okay. I didn't really want to like go out again. I think the first one, I got her number from across the river, and this was like one of the like I hadn't gone on a date in a long time, and my suggestion was like go to this dog park, and we just stood across from each other and just like talked. We did nothing for like 3 hours besides talk to each other at this dog park. And dude, it was cool talking, but like in hindsight, that was like probably the most boring date that she's ever had in her life. And she was also a anesthesiologist, and she was like 6 years older than me, or no, shoot, she was like 10. She was like pretty old, but she was still cute though. But yeah, definitely didn't work. But so the uh the last one I had asked out, like we had a really good conversation. We talked for a little bit. She said she was like going to this yoga class, but then I got her number. She said like, yeah, for sure she'd want to go bouldering. And that was my strat because at the time I didn't have a decent job, so I would take them bouldering because I had a free pass with my membership. So I take this girl bouldering. It's going really well. Like I feel like the flirting's going well. I was trying to get better at that because I always sucked at that. Never had experience. And then it's like physical touch, easy to do with bouldering. And then I remember like we stayed there until they closed, and then we get into the parking lot and there's like no one else there, and she's just like lingering and staying there. And I'm like, what? Like, what's this girl doing? Like, am I too like retarded to pick up on signs or something? But yeah, she was just lingering and staying there. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I think like she's not leaving. Like, I think she wants me to kiss her. So I think I went in for a hug, and then I was like, oh, what do I do? Shit. But then I kissed her after. And that was my first kiss, and it went super well, surprisingly. Um, but and then we went out for a couple months after, but nothing crazy turned of it. But with that all to say, like I genuinely don't think I would have had those experiences had I not stopped gooning. And the kind of big thing is to it, like it again, I keep saying it, but some of it is probably placebo. But the fact that it's just giving you so much confidence that you don't have to like sit there and beat your meat in the corner of your room. I just think that's like if you think more introspective of like what that might look like from a third person point of view, like you doing that in your bedroom by yourself, like whether you're thinking of something or watching something on your phone, like imagine you have like a son and you just walk in and like he's just doing that in the corner instead of like going out in the real world and talking to girls. I feel like you might be slightly disappointed in your son and be like, dude, maybe you should just like go talk to a girl in real life. But I digress. But anyway, with all that to say, I think it is a really kind of massive thing, and I think it's understated that, I think you should definitely try it if you're having issues with any of these sort of things. And I swear it gives you more confidence and just more willpower and discipline, and easier to talk to people because um, I feel like you are a lot of the things that you do. And if you want to sit there and goon, that's fine, but or watch adult content. But I think that does have a bigger effect than people want it to, and a bigger effect than people might say it does. And there is an industry around it and a ton of money. So obviously they want to make it seem as okay as possible to do this. But again, I just think just the amount of willpower that you get from this and confidence is the biggest thing. Like, I swear it gives you so much confidence to not do this. But anyway, that's my rant of why you should not goon. Um, so yeah, try it for at least a month. Don't try for a week and be like, oh, this didn't work. I didn't do anything. But especially if you have an issue socializing or talking to people like I did in the past. But now it's a lot easier for me. I've kind of immersion therapied myself, so it's so easy for me to just go to run clubs and talk to girls and then have a great conversation. And then it's easy again to just be like, oh, you want to grab a coffee after this, or you want to go bouldering, or like, oh, we should go check out this concert that's happening Friday. And like 9 times out of 10, they're super nice. Like I've only ever had people be kind of off-putting and rude when I just approach them randomly in the street. They kind of get confused, but that was a long time ago. That hasn't happened recently, so yeah. But again, don't goon. You should not do that.